So now we're going to pick up where we left off with the lists, and we're going to move on to adding a link and an image to our project. So I'm going to come into my Notepad++ document. I just reopened the one that we had used in the last segment, and going to go under my unordered list and going to add in a link. Now for a link, we're going to open a tag with an A, which is for anchor, and then href for hypertext reference, equals, and then you need to put in quotation marks the name of the site you want to link to, and in this case I'm going to link to Google, but I would like you to make sure that you put in the http:// it makes it a lot cleaner. You don't know what people's browsers react to, so it's always best to put in the full information there. And in www.google.com, close that tag. Now this is establishing the link, but what you put after this tag is the text that will appear on the screen that you can actually click on to make the link happen. Now, my link is going to Google. I could put Yahoo in here as the text, and when somebody looked at it, they'd see a Yahoo link, but they'd click on it and it would go to Google. So just to make it clean, we're going to say click here to visit Google. All right. And then we need to close that anchor. Alright. And you may notice something I've done a little differently here than before. I had been putting everything in uppercase in the tags, and that's just a habit I got into for myself. To me, it makes it a little clearer for the tags, especially for things like the L. When it's in a lowercase, it almost looks like a number 1. But I'm doing it in the lowercase here just to show you that it doesn't matter whether it's uppercase or lowercase. The HTML will accept it either way. So I've got my link, I've got what we call my hot text that I'm going to be able to click on, and I'm actually just going to go here and I'm going to put a paragraph tag in front and after this. I want to just separate this a little, again, make it a little cleaner and look neater on the page. So go ahead and save. And let's run this and take a look at our link. I'll just take a few seconds for Firefox to open back up here. All right, more than a few seconds. Let's try that again. Okay, it took a few seconds for Firefox to open up there, but now I've got my page, and you can see we now have a link. And as I hover over it, you might see in the bottom corner, it actually is displaying the link, and I can see a slight error in there. So before I even continue, I'm going to go back in, and it looks like I've got 4 W's. Going to resave, reopen. There we go. And now I click on Visit Google. Transferring data. There we go. Okay, a little sluggish response, but it did open to the Google page that I wanted. So I know my link is working. So that's a good thing. So we now have a link added to our page. So last segment we added the list. Now we have a link. And the last thing I wanted to do for the week 2 assignments is to show you how to add an image to your web page. And images are great. You know, we're starting to get definitely more advanced, getting a graphic in there. One thing about the images though, when we're putting an image into a web page, the file for the image needs to be in the same directory as the file for the page itself. So if you're saving it as I have here I am in an IST140 folder and then inside an index folder. Well, my image needs to be in that index folder as well, or I have to put in the directory information to show how the system can find that image. Now in this case I've already uploaded an image into that directory, so I just am going to tell it I want an image img and the source src equals, in quotation marks, now mine is going to be ehavatar.jpg and my quotes, and close the tag. Now we don't need open and close tags for an image, it's just inserting an item into the page, so it works a little differently than most of the other tags. So now that I put that in there, let's save again and we'll take a quick look. Oh, and there we go. It looks like there's another error. I know it seems like there's a lot, but we're here to prove a point. And that point is, if I go back, I need to make sure I have the right name. And I can tell you right now that if you don't have the right name in here, it's not going to load properly. Now, the other name I had been using was ehsimpsons.jpg. So let's see if we have better luck there. We'll save it, rerun this, launch in Firefox. Oh, and there's my image. So there's my little Simpsons avatar, and I've now added that image in. There's a lot of things you can do with images. We can work on some of those advanced tools a little later on. I do want to show you just one so you can see you can do a little bit more. I'm going to go inside that tag right after the quotation mark with the JPG at the end, and I'm going to change the height on this. And to change the height, I'm just going to put height equals, and in quotations you want to tell it how many pixels. So I'm going to tell it to make it 150 px for pixels, and it's a simple command, and we're going to save that. Going to do run, launch that in Firefox too. And we'll give it a few seconds and see how that change happened with the original image. So, alright, let me come in here. Alright, so now you can see the image is a bit larger, and I actually kept the other window open so I can switch back and forth here. See, there's quite a bit of a change in that. So this one, if I measure it out, is a little less than 100 pixels high, so I knew putting it at 150 would be a noticeable difference. Now, you don't have to use height, you could do width. There's definitely other things that we'll get into as we get more advanced, but I did want to just show you very quickly how to add a link, which is something that a web page can't do without, and we're going to be doing a lot of those, and you should definitely have different links in your project. And the image, again, you can choose any image you want, just to make sure it works. But what you should be thinking now is, what images are going to work in my project? Where can I find something that is going to enhance my final product? So with that in mind, and with the previous tutorial in mind on creating the lists, I want you to go ahead and check out the instructions at the Dropbox for this week's assignment. There's quite a few things in there. It's going to take you a little bit of time, nothing extensive, but I don't want you recreating what I had here. I want you creating your own information, so just follow the guidelines, and I'm looking forward to seeing your web pages.